So recently, I've been toying around a bit with Miyamoto. For those of you not familiar with it, Miyamoto is not only the name of, well, Miyamoto, but Miyamoto is actually also the name of a new Super Mario Bros. U level editing and ROM hacking software. What Miyamoto allows us to do is to basically alter, rearrange and modify all the beautiful levels in New Super Mario Bros. U. The editor is incredibly powerful. It actually easily allows to create a completely new Mario game within Mario Bros. U, which is really awesome, but that's actually not what this video is about, because there is something I personally found even more interesting hidden within this great level editor. It grants us access to tons of unused items and features that are still within the code of New Super Mario Bros. U, but never actually appear inside the real game. Some of them are just small, neat little things that didn't make the cut into the full version, while others are actually pretty cool obstacles that at some point in development probably had a full level built around them, but then got kicked out for some reason. So today we're going to take a look at a lot of those cut features that are still hidden within the game's code, and we will speculate a bit about what their purpose was and why they were cut. So you ready? Let's do this! Okay, so Mario's day starts in the middle of a frozen ice cave, and immediately a couple of things catch our eye that certainly don't exist in the real game. First, and most obvious, the snow particle effect in the background isn't used in the release version of the game, as most of you wonderful ladies and gentlemen probably noticed at once. Here we have tons of snow particle effects on top of each other, so that it is a bit easier to see what it would have looked like. Hooray! But that was actually not the only thing that was new at the beginning of this frozen cave. There is also a really cool unused bullet blaster variation. Those blasters cycle up and down and always shoot out a dangerous bullying bullet bill when they are at their highest or lowest. There are tons of different settings possible with those, and they are a really interesting item that was unfortunately cut. We'll see more of them in a second. Also, the background theme we see here is actually not featured in the real game. This is now probably going to be a huge shock for many. But as it turns out, New Super Mario Bros. U is actually written in the same engine as New Super Mario Bros. Wii. This background was used in the Wii version of the game, if I'm not completely mistaken, and there are a couple of other Mario Wii artifacts still in the game. The World 1 overworld theme of the Wii version, for example, is still in the Wii U game files as well. Anyway, if we actually start to play the little ice cave hack we made for Mario's pleasure, then we soon find the next unused items. First, this Piranha plant trap thingy didn't make it into the release version. And second, and much more interesting, there is this moving ice platform. Those platforms actually exist in the game. The penguin level in the fourth world uses them, but they were always static there. At some point in development, they had those platforms moving around, and to be honest, I totally see why they scrapped them. The mix of them being ultra slippery while moving around makes it quite unpredictable to platform on top of them. Next up, we run into one of the most interesting cut obstacles. But you know what? Before we take a look at it, I'm getting a bit tired of this samey ice cave theme. Maybe we should change it to a swamp area? Maybe even add some poisonous water? That's better, but you know what? Let's go with an underwater background instead, but let's put rising lava at the bottom. Yeah, that works for me. Hooray! So now, Mario faces those rotating ice cubes in the middle of this frozen underwater lava cave. Those cubes come in many different shapes and sizes, and with lots of different customization options. Those are one of the most fleshed out cut items, so it's really surprising that they never use those in one way or another in the main game. They're really cool. The growing, shrinking bullet bills also exist in an upside down version that allows us to create areas where bullet bills grow out of the ceiling, which seems to be a pretty cool use for them if you ask me. Actually, now that I think about it, those growing bullet bills would make for an awesome addition for Mario Maker 2. We're almost done with our sunken frozen fire cave now. There are just a couple of smaller things for us to take a quick look at. So first, those small not again. Those ice blocks that Mario is able to pick up. They aren't the most exciting thing ever, but still deserve a mention. And finally, there is this huge sinking platform. The smaller version of the sinking platform actually appears in the game, but as it turns out, at one point, the small platform actually had a bigger sister. Hooray! Okay, so that was the first little showcase. Before we take a look at the second one, let's first talk a bit about a couple of other small hidden things that are within the code of the game. So first, there are a couple of unused level files. Most of them aren't too exciting, but look more like small testing areas. For example, there is the mysterious Toad House Type 4 area that not only looks like the area where the credits take place, but also crashes the game if we try to enter it. There is the famous AW1 climbing level with corrupted tileset area that crashes the game. There is this jungle area that is actually really fleshed out and quite fun to run through. No idea what they were testing here, I'm just pretty sure that this wasn't a real stage at some point, since there are a couple of spots where a plumber, when he's Big Mario, almost soft locks if something goes wrong. This cut level is also quite well developed. Here we have colorful blocks, lots of fuzzies, flying Koopas, the area doesn't crash, which is also a huge plus in my book, and we even have those strange rock-throwing crabs. Then there is this area that only consists of Lakitu and a couple of moving platforms, a fuzzy mountaintop climbing stage that always drops Mario into an abyss when loaded, and a desert zone area that only features this little screen. Most of those areas are probably just testing areas that somehow slipped into the final files, though I do wonder what the jungle and fuzzy levels were at some point. Those definitely had some effort put into them. Anyway, let's take a look at a few more cut obstacles. So first there are those balance platforms. They are classic Mario obstacles and they act as they always did, since the very first game. It's two platforms connected with a rope. Interestingly, those exist in the game's code even though they never appear. Most likely another Super Mario Bros. Wii artifact. There is also something more subtle going on here. The fog effect isn't used in the game. Let's overdo the fog a bit so that it's easier for us to see it. Beautiful. Simply amazing. I'm honestly baffled why this perfect fog texture didn't make it into the final product. This is fog perfection. Okay, so the next cut item comes with a small story attached to it. So everyone's favorite crow, Psycrow, has been toying around with new Super Mario Bros. U Romhacks a lot recently. He actually made a really awesome Romhack stage built around ice flower mechanics. So there was this one section in his level that featured this 4-way platform that moves into any direction if Mario stands on the right spot. So I saw the clip and wrote him something along the lines of, "I love what you did with this 4-way platform, that was amazing," and he replied something like, "Thank you, but I actually didn't put that one together, that's just an unused item in New Super Mario Bros. U's code." And I was like, wait, there is unused stuff hidden within New Super Mario Bros. U? And here we are. Huge, gigantic and enormous shout out to Psycrow. He was a tremendous help in setting everything up for this video. There is a link in the description to Psycrow's level and I highly recommend to check it out. It's really cool to see what can be done in New Super Mario Bros. U by someone who actually knows what he's doing. Okay, so back to our content. Next up is one of the weirdest code leftovers. So there is an object in the code that Miyamoto labeled wooden box spawner. So what does wooden box spawner do, you might ask? Well, it spawns wooden boxes. Endlessly. That one really left me wondering why anyone ever would want endless wooden crates in a game. It took me a while to figure it out, but I believe this spawner probably once was part of a conveyor belt castle stage, since there is a similar level in the game but with metal crates instead. Okay, so there are two more small things for us to take a look at in this area. First, there is this coin fountain which, didn't make it into the final game, and then there are those fire bars that never appear. And once Mario made it past those fire bars, he's finally allowed to leave this area by throwing himself over the exit cliff. Hooray! In case anyone is wondering why we're having exit cliffs today, well, I haven't quite figured out how to link up doors yet. Sorry, Mario. Okay, so next our plumber finds himself in the middle of a flooded desert. So first, this air background theme is never used in the finished game, although a very similar one is. Second, we once again have a secret particle effect in the background going on. This time it's an amber effect. But the most interesting thing here is that we actually have a wind effect placed in the stage. So the wind effect is strange. It's most likely a carryover of New Super Mario Bros. Wii, but it doesn't affect Mario in the slightest. In fact, it only seems to affect two things: rope ladders, and weirdly enough, the checkpoint flag later in the level. If we continue this path, we run into a couple of other neat things. First, those floating question blocks. Those only work on top of water and look a bit weird if you ask me, and second, and much more interesting, here we have another cut bullet bill variation. Those blasters shoot dangerous, chasing, blinking bullets that even explode after a while. The metal box in the middle is also a cut object, though the blasters are a bit more interesting. You know what? I already have seen enough of this background. Let's change it. Let's change this area into a castle and let's swap the water at the bottom out with Lava? No, let's go with poisonous water this time. Also, let's place one of those gigantic Koopa shell caves from Mario Wii in the middle, because apparently they are also still in the code. I mean, why not? Wait, those crashed the game? Well, never mind then. Alright, the next thing Mario encounters are those flying mechanical Cheeps. So, ladies and gentlemen, I need your help. I could swear that those appear somewhere in New Super Mario Bros. U, but Miyamoto has listed them as unused. Do those appear in a stage, or am I just slowly going crazy? Anyway, the next unused item Mario encounters is this golden pipe. It's hard to say why they never used this glowing golden pipe version. Maybe there was a problem in the pipe's collision code, maybe they just weren't able to find the right level for it, maybe it's because the pipe is ugly as fuzzy. Scholars remain divided, so there is one final cut obstacle for us to take a look at. This really fascinating huge bullet blaster with a beautiful Luigi emblem on top of it.
Thunder!
But the really cool thing about this blaster isn't actually that it is a huge Luigi fan, but that it shoots gigantic chasing red bullets. After having been shot, those bullets fly towards the same vertical position Mario is currently at, which makes them really hard to dodge for poor Plumber and a really cool obstacle. So that was the last thing for us to take a look at, but there is actually still a lot more stuff hidden. Tons of objects that appear in the game have settings that we never get to see, and there are even more cut items, though most of them just crash the game once placed. Huge thanks again to Psycrow for helping me with setting everything up, and another huge and enormous thanks to the team behind the Miyamoto editor. You guys are doing incredibly important work for the community. Seriously, huge thanks. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this little video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave me a thumbs up and maybe you feel especially like an awesome rotating ice block that got cut for absolutely no reason today, and want to hit the subscribe button as well. Seriously, why cut the ice blocks? Anyway, I hope that all of you have a wonderful day and to see you soon. Goodbye!